Hello friends, and welcome to part 16 of our FastAPI tutorial. In this video we are going to briefly touch on form fields. And what I mean by form fields has to do with the way you're passing data in a post request or a patch or a put or something like that. So let's just go ahead and get started. app.post login. We are going to create async def login. And typically we would do something like username string, password string, or we would go in here and say class user base model. This is more like what we would do because this would actually create them as query parameters. So we would do something like this. Let's go ahead and do... Hey, it worked. And we would say user is user. Return user. So this is what we currently have, okay? And let's take a look at this really quickly. So we can see we're passing in application JSON, we hit execute, and we get exactly this. Okay, we've seen that many, many times before. But what we're going to do here is we're going to include the possibility, or we're going to assume the possibility that the user is passing in a different type of request. Not JSON, but one where we're actually using a form in HTML. We're going to be passing in something called form URL encoded as a possibility for a post request. If you're sending in a form like that, you can do multi-part form data encoding type. So it doesn't have to be application JSON. It can be these other types of information that we're passing in. So let's go ahead here and we're going to say username is a string and it is going to be a form field. Password is a string and is also a form field. And in this case, we will just return username is username, and we'll print password so that it doesn't, my ID doesn't yell at me. Now, we need to import form from FastAPI. And we hit save, and we're going to get yelled at because we need to install another package. Pip install Python multipart. What I'm going to do instead of just doing pip install, I'm going to copy, add it to my requirements file, and I'll close this. And now I will go into my terminal. I'm not going to install it up here because not everyone's using PyCharm. I've got my virtual environment activated, and pip install-r requirements.txt. There we go. I had already, it was already cached, so it was very easy to install quickly. Now, this is working. It should be at least. Let's check out our run right here. There we go. We're good. And here now, we have a form that we're going to be passing in. You can notice this is now x-www-form-URL encoded. So we are going to say username is username, password is password, and what I want to do, let's just inspect the page, network, and let's just see what the request looks like. Let me close this up a little bit, bring this back. Oh, geez, Lou. Okay, hold on a second. I'll fix this. I'll fix it. Wow, this just looks terrible. Okay, that's better. Execute. Let's click login. And let's click the payload. So we can see this is now a form as form data. I'm going to do app.post login JSON. And we'll quickly set up class user, username string, password string. So I'm going to Oh, base model. There we go. Now let's refresh our page, and we're going to clear this out because I want to look at the two of these side by side. So this is going to be username, password, and let's hit execute. And we see our login, form data, great, grand. Now let's try this out, execute, login JSON, and you can see our request payload is our traditional JSON object that we're used to seeing. Okay. Okay. That's generally about it for this one. This was another fairly short video. I want to just mention really quickly, so you're going to use something like this if you're going to be receiving data from an HTML form. This is, if you're going to be manually setting up, a JSON object in the front end, stringifying it using either fetch or Axios. I'm sorry about my knuckle cracking. Using fetch or Axios, then you're going to use the body attribute that we've already seen. You can use, like, we can say username string equals body, and password string equals body. What is the matter with me? Return username. So we refresh our page. You can see it's the exact same thing that we saw before. Login JSON. It works the exact same way. So this is another way that we can, let me just kind of, these are kind of like the two ways that we can take a post request if you want to compare them side by side and we don't want to use this user class. If we set it up as a body, if we set the parameters up as body attributes, then they will be sent back as JSON. If we set them up as form data, it will be sent back as a form object. It's not going to like it if we try and do both. Not that it's not going to like it, but it's just, it's not, I don't know how to say it. Let me try one more time. It's going to create it as a form element regardless. So if you pass this in here, we're saying this is going to be JSON by passing it as a body. Well, it's just going to overwrite it, and it's going to pass it in as form data anyway. That's what I was trying to say. You have to pick and choose one or the other. Okay? That's kind of it. Sorry if I had a little bit of a brain fart for a second. It's been a long day, long week, long year, and it's only March 3rd. My goodness. Okay, in the next video, we are going to touch on request files. So if if you're going to be uploading a file, doing something like that. Now you can understand why you touched on form fields just now, because when you upload a file, you need to append it to a form that you've created in the client. Okay, I will see you in that next video.